Welcome to another Atchband Kings of War Battle Report. Northern Alliance versus Ratkin. 2,000 points, and the scenario today is Dominate. Okay, back in my Warhammer days, I had a list that I called the triplets. And the triplet list was awe-inspiring in how many games I won with it. It was just pure filth. So this list is kind of an homage to my triplets list. But at 2,000 points, I can't do the triplets. But I can do what I call the triple-double. So we have 3 regiments of warriors, 3 hordes of shock troops, all with plague pots, 1 with caterpillar, 1 with sharpness, and 1 with blessing of the gods. They are loaded. 2 troops of claw shots, 2 weapons teams, a horde of wretches, 2 warlocks, 1 with the inspiring talisman and bane chant, and the other one with a boomstick, a swarm crier, and lastly, Mother Kryza. Next is my friend Carl's Northern Alliance Army. This is kind of a variant of the one he took last year to the Wildcat tournament. It starts off with a horde of clansmen with 2 handed weapons and a potion of the caterpillar, a horde of ice naiads with hammer of measured force, a regiment of huskarls, 2 regiments of snow foxes, 1 troop of tundra wolves, 1 horde of snow trolls with a brew of sharpness, a cavern dweller, an icekin bolt thrower, a lord with the wings of honey maize and a snow fox, a thane with the inspiring talisman, Talinar standard, and a snow fox, a lord on Frostfang with a snow fox and the blade of slashing. Okay, this game Carl set up really tight together. Over here on his right flank, he set up with a regiment of snow foxes in front of his horde of snow trolls with the brew of sharpness. The icekin bolt thrower was on a slight rise there. The Lord on Frostfang in between them to offer some inspire, and then the Huskarls regiment behind with snow foxes in front of them, and you'll see the clansmen again on the next picture, but the clansmen are right there at the edge of the picture. Okay, the Northern Alliance left flank was a horde of clansmen. Next to them was the Cavern Dweller, a unit of ice naiads, and then the Tundra Wolves, and I believe the Thane with Talinar standard is right behind the Cavern Dweller. I think you could see him just right there. So at first I was going to leave my left flank kind of bare with just a couple of warriors over there, but then he started piling stuff tightly, and so then I had second thoughts and put the shock troops in there. So it starts off with a horde of shock troops. These have the blessing of the gods, and then a regiment of warriors, a regiment of claw shots. The Mother Kryza is there. Then another unit of warriors and another unit of claw shots, and there's also the warlock with the inspiring talisman is in that mess somewhere. I did not take very good deployment pictures this game, so basically added on to the other picture, we just have a horde of shock troops. That unit has the brew of sharpness, and next to them is a warlock with the boomstick. He's ready to lay down some fire. Carl had absolutely put his whole army really in a very, very small area. So I was overlapped by this much. This is how much is left over from the other end of his army. So I started off with 2 weapons teams that I stuck in the edge of those woods. That way I could move up and on the second turn hopefully start shooting. The other horde of shock troops, this one had the potion of the caterpillar, a unit of warriors, and then lastly the wretches. And I had a storm crier. He was I had 45 points in the list, so I screwed around and I got the storm crier in there, which basically gives me some inspire for this end of the battlefield. Carl got the first turn and just moved up generally. He shot his icekin bolt thrower and wavered my warriors right in front of my right in front of my shock troops, of course. But over here on the right flank, with nothing to slow me down, I just started moving like crazy to flank his army. If I had thought about it, I didn't even have to move where I moved, because I could have clipped through those woods with those shock troops with the potion of the caterpillar. Seeing where Carl had put his ice naiads at the start of the game, before the game started, I had stuck my unit of shock troops with the brew of sharpness right in front of them, because I hate fighting against those naiads. It takes forever to kill them. But I had a plan for him this game. So I kind of checkerboarded here a little bit. I stuck the warriors in that big pile of goo, and they were there just basically to protect the claw shots. Yeah, over here my shock troops were stuck behind a wavered unit of warriors. He only did like 1 wound and then rolled boxcars. It was crazy. He's been doing that lately with his ice kin bolt thrower. I'm thinking he needs to take 3 of the damn things. You can see it here right between the units now. You can see my other warlock. He has Inspiring Talisman, Bane Chant, and of course Lightning Bolt. And he's going to start shooting some stuff. And then behind the claw shots is Mother Cries, and she's going to open up with her Lightning Bolt as well. So I returned the favor to Carl and wavered his Snow Foxes right in front of his Snow Trolls. So this is going to delay both of our movement on this flank. So the Snow Trolls just this time marched through the wavered Snow Foxes. And then the other unit of Snow Foxes and the Huskarls move forward, getting ready to fight the Clansmen with the Potion of Caterpillar, moving to the woods, and they're getting ready to fight. So Carl's trying to close down on my flank over here because I really don't have a lot here because 2 of the units are claw shots. Yeah, everything else is closing in over here. After the game, I realized in just looking at these pictures that the unit that would have benefited from the Snow Foxes was this unit of Ice Naiads because they had nothing to screen them from either being charged or from being shot. So I think that unit would have helped this unit a lot. The other thing that maybe could have done better here is just kind of suicided that stupid Cavern Dweller. They're almost unkillable. Every time you wound one, it gets them right back because of its life leech. So I mean, he could have ran those into a whole unit or something and probably kept it up. I doubt it could have survived the shock troops though, and that would have been a bad idea. This is one of those games I just wish that I had 2 units of Hack Paws. I think it could have been bad. I mean, I would have been in turn 1. I would have been sitting there on the flank of his army. But we're going as fast as the little rat feet can go. Still making pretty good progress. You know, remember we are playing Dominate, and basically I'm already in the middle of the table with these 3 units. So I'm in pretty good shape right here. You can see both weapons teams getting ready to open fire on the stupid Ice Naiads. I absolutely unloaded on this unit of Ice Naiads. I fired claw shots, lightning bolt, 2 weapons teams into them. Did not kill them or waver them, but they were seriously hurt. I think they were up to 13 or 14 wounds in one good go. And like I said, I very well respect this unit, and I do not want to fight it if I do not have to. So I would rather, of course, shoot it down and try to get into a fight with it. So Carl rapidly closed this turn. He had really no choice because I'm just shooting the heck out of him. So the Ice Naiads move up here. Carl thought they were out of the charge arc of my shock troops, but they were not. But I had a plan for them, and I really didn't need to charge them this turn anyway. And so the everything is right in my face, and he's getting ready to charge, so I'm going to have to do something to mitigate this. So my flanking units are closing in. They're going to hit his line just about the same time he hits mine. So I'm a little bit behind because I had to come so far, but I'll eventually get there. So yes, I could do the Ice Naiads in the flank, but instead I opened fire again and just hosed the whole unit down this time. So now there's this glaring hole in the end of Carl's line where his Ice Naiads used to be. So this must have been turn 3 because the first 2 turns my stupid warrior unit sat there and was wavered by that Ice Kin bolt thrower, and that's despite the rally and everything around him. It just didn't matter. The dice were the dice. But this turn, since I was free up, I went ahead and charged the Snow Trolls to get them in position for my shock troops to engage them this turn. And then the everything else Carl had is moved up within an inch, and I guess we're going to fight next turn. So here the Cavern Dweller goes in and hoses the unit of claw shots. Over next to them to the left, the Lord on Frostfang and the unit of Clansmen go in and destroy my unit of warriors there to make a big hole in my line at this point. As you can see in the back, the Huskarls had to turn now because the Ice Naiads aren't there. Had to turn to cover the flank because now I've got 4 units coming in on the flank with the other unit of shock troops. Yeah, those 2 units crushed my middle, and now he's going to be able to turn the Clansmen so they don't get flank charged in the next turn. But like I said, you can see the maneuver over here on the end has finally come to fruition as all the Ratkin are turning the corner now. So here the snow trolls easily destroyed the unit of warriors, but now they are in a world of hurt because of having to deal with an intact unit of shock troops that also has their plague pots as well. The a unit of snow foxes and the honey maze lord charge into the unit of claw shots, but does not hurt them. Or it did hurt them, but it didn't kill them in one go, which I thought was going to happen. As you can tell now, the clansmen have turned to face the unit of shock troops. So yeah, the shock troops go ahead and go into the clansmen. I do incredible damage, but I did not waver or kill them. I don't know if I think I had a bad dice roll, like a 3 or something like that, which is just about the only thing, except for Snake Eyes, that would have kept them in the game. The other unit of warriors goes moving as far as they can toward the Huskarls. And the goal here, of course, is to get them in there, let the Huskarls beat them up, and then hopefully I'll sneak in with my shooting guys over here at the two weapons teams and the warlock that are still running around over on this side of the table and hose them. On the far left, the shock troops go into the trolls, and then I'd also thrown Banechan on them with the warlock and easily destroy the unit of trolls. So there's basically nothing to stop me from going in on that flank as well, except a couple of units of snow foxes. So Carl had to turn the cavern dweller around this turn, and he's ready to do mean things to me next turn. My shock troops did not kill the clansmen, and I mean I'm hitting on 3s and wounding on anything, but I don't know if it was a bad dice roll or whatever, but now I'm in trouble because those guys have double-handed weapons, and so my armor is nothing to them. The claw shots died this turn. Now the Mother Kryza is looking at a very angry lord on Frostfang. That cannot be a good thing to be. But the good thing is most of the other stuff is cleared out. His lord with the Wings of Honey Maze is wailing on the warlock that has the inspiring talisman this turn. He's actually taken 2 wounds because of being too close to Mother Kryza. Since I failed to kill his unit of clansmen last turn, even though I probably should have, they were able to swing back and to do a lot of damage to my shock troops. But my favorite rule jumped up, and this time not against me. I actually did roll one early in the game, but it was not as it didn't have any consequence. But this turn it did, because now the Snake Eyes is going to let me swing back at his clansmen and finish him off this turn. So to avoid getting hit by the Lord on the Frostfang, Mother Kryza just charges the Snow Foxes to get out of his charge arc. The shock troops go ahead and charge the other unit of Snow Foxes, and I think all these things die this turn. And of course the shock troops countercharge into the very wounded unit of clansmen. So with the clansmen finished off, I was able to turn toward the cavern dweller, who, if I hadn't killed him the next turn, I was dead. So I'm able to turn now, and where'd the Huskarls go? Well, I know where they went, because with nothing else to shoot at, I was able to concentrate 2 units of weapons teams and the other lightning bolt boomstick mage into them and just wipe them out. So now there's really nothing left except the Frostfang Lord and the Cavern Dweller, and I think that's his Thane up there with even he's wounded. Yeah, last turn desperation charge by the Cavern Dweller into the other unit of shock troops. You could see that I did pop my plague pots on top of that to add insult to injury, and also now the weapons teams and the other warlock have moved up to give him a proper hosing on the next turn, because all I have to do is back out immediately and just shoot the heck out of him again. So this was a very one-sided game, and I apologize for it, but these rats, they did a fantastic job this game, being able to gun down this very tough Northern Alliance army. So during second edition, I used to form this little fire team. It took me 3 games at my second GT to figure out this fire team thing. So I would put 3 weapons teams and a warlock with the inspiring talisman together and hide them, waiting for things to come by so that I could come out and pounce. Well, I formed the fire team this game, except with 2 and 1 warlock. But it still was very, very effective. Once somebody comes into short range, it just opens up and hoses them. So it was instrumental. I mean, I spent a good part of my strategy this game was to figure out how to get rid of those ice naiads, because they tend to hold me up, and then either the Lord on the Frostfang or the Cavern Dweller comes into the fight and cleans me up after that. So shooting them off the table, that was the right strategy. My shooting was very effective this game. Tundra Wolves, I don't even think moved. Huskarls were shot down. It was one-sided. I apologize. I usually don't take that much shooting, but like I said, I was in a triplets mood today, and at 2,300, this list, of course, is even more hosey with more stuff that you're able to take and shoot with. I like Mother Kryza. I don't know. I've kind of got an attraction to Mother Kryza in the list now. All of my Ratkin list. It's just an all-around balanced piece, I guess, and you can't discount the aura of death around her, to start chipping away at. I mean, every time you get in a fight, and then you're down another one, and then you're down another one, from that silly thing. So that worked out really, really well. Loading up the shock troops, it's probably don't really need it as much as you thought. But, I mean, I need those guys because they're the only kind of decent thing in the army that fights. They have to hurt stuff when they get them. They have to. And so I just load them. I've loaded all of them. I mean, there's over 100 points of magic items or 100 points of magic items on those 3 units. But they absolutely perform when you need them to because of that. I mean, when they get into a fight, they're sitting there, the ones with sharpness is sitting there hitting 20 times, throw a Bane Shan on them, and they just hose anything. So really like the shock troops. As far as that's concerned, the Warriors, I mean, they're just throwaways. They really do make good chaff, and then the fact that they get rally from the shock troops is very helpful as far as part of the strategy of using these guys. And I do, I have played games where I have used the Mutant Rat Fiends and Tunnel Runners and Scud and all that, and that's just as fun too. But this idea here of the heavy shooting and the magic to chip down and just basically strip all of their chaff away, and then or light missile troops, anything like that, you just eat them alive because of the range of the claw shots. You can hit them way before most of them can hit you, and claw shots are fairly resilient. I mean, they got armor 5. Weapons teams are armor 5, so it's you don't necessarily, if you get a shot at them, you don't necessarily take them off. So that's a big thing as far as the Ratkin is just that ability to have some decent stuff. I mean, it's really a good army. I mean, I don't like playing them as much as I used to in second edition, but I mean, this third edition 2,000 point army is about as close as I was going to get to replicating my old Warhammer Skaven as far as units and stuff. And most of these guys are my old Warhammer Skaven from 2001 and 2002. And if you see most of these bases, you can tell there are full model count. There's 40 on there for a horde. There's 25 on there for a regiment. So I have a ton, and if I broke them down onto trays, of course, I think they would actually look better if I multi-based them. Because right now they just look like a pile of garbage thrown together. I mean, they're just brown and green, which are my colors, just mushed together all over the place. But they would look a lot better, I think, multi-based. And maybe one of these days that I will do that for them. As far as the Northern Alliance, I didn't understand the setting up on all in one corner this game. It allowed me to do this advantage right here, which is move around that flank. And Carl's just fortunate I didn't have something even faster that could get around that flank. Scud would have eat him up. I mean, it would have been over like instantly if the Scud was in this game. So I think he should have probably put the Cavern Dweller and the Lord on Frostfang over here on this flank to protect the Ice Naiads. And if he got close, then he could just charge the Lord on Frostfang or the Cavern Dweller into the weapons teams and kill him. So I think this is really a game not of necessarily a bad army list. I think it was just in this case it was the deployment just wasn't good enough to support that particular army. And I think that the snow foxes needed to be over here to shield the ice naiads from the shooting. So it was a little wonky of a game when I just had so much more stuff as far as length and everything and unit strength to play since I'm playing Dominate. I mean, I was running around with 8, 9 unit strength over here on this flank with nothing opposing it. I mean, nothing even to slow it down. So, and Lord on Frostfang could have got into one of those units there and probably held him up most of the game. Hell, it may even killed him. As awesome as those things are. So, it's a thought anyway. Hope you enjoyed the battle report, though. It's a really short one because the game played very quickly. So, hope you appreciate it, and I hope you subscribe to me on YouTube. It helps me out a lot. Keeps me encouraged to keep doing these things.